Today's tea time topic is a third in a row, and that is Theories of Astrology, Part 3. So I've been just kind of getting my little astrology stuff. I hope you're enjoying this little series of discussions because I think they're important. I see Bella's excited about it. So let's go forward. And I talked about ancient Babylonia. I talked about using it as a calendar system. I talked about yesterday that astrology is that we are basically in a vortex. We're never in the same space-time anyway, so it's kind of an interesting thing. And I do believe that the planets screw with Ra, piss off our sun, change the drumbeat of the light constantly just by all these different boomerangs swinging around the sun. And, we literally are discovering new planets today because we notice the sun, the star will twinkle, or we'll notice that it gets pulled back and forth by a heavy planet like Jupiter. So we know that planets screw with suns. Now, I want to take it to another crazy dimension, which I haven't talked about. And I believe that there's this nature to our orbit. So, the Earth is zipping around the sun as it's basically expanding and speeding up. It's crazy. And in that sense, I liken it to being at the fair in the summertime. You used to go on these rides, and I remember being on this one ride, which is like the zipper thing. But like I would see, your parents are standing or whatever, and you would, after you're on the ride and you're on this like cycle of these little fingers that are spinning around, you always had this same thing where you'd be like, hi grandma, hi grandma, hi grandma, you know what I mean? Like you always like zoo, hi grandma, like every time when you like go off and you're like zoo. And that's kind of look at like, that what's happening is like we're on this crazy merry-go-round thing called Earth that's zipping around the sun. Okay, it's basically an attraction at a fair, you know what I mean? And I believe that human beings all come to a conscious point every year at the same different time. There's always a conscious point they come to. And human beings are kind of stuck in this like rhythm of life of this conscious system. Now, using my step astrology system, I actually have the exact formula, right? We know that it's Aries, Taurus, Gemini, or whatever. So basically the conscious points that we end up going on in this ride and our perception of the ride is, here it is, here's the formula. I believe it starts in Scorpio. That was the pagan New Year. So step 0, so it's 0, 3, 8, 4, 7, 9, 10, 2, 11, 6, and repeat. Right? That's basically the conscious game. We go through protection, belief, decisions, where we belong, what we sense, what we should act on, what we should manifest, what we should feel, what we should love some more, and where we should get the harvest, and start over. Okay, like this is the ride. And I think again that the planets are, some sort of a calendar system to go, wow, every time we're in the ride, it's like, and every time we're here, it's Mars and this, it's like we're basically noticing these things. And it's because the ride always repeats. That's one of the secrets of the universe. The story repeats, human conscious repeats. What I learned in the 11 Steps of Serious Joy is God goes in the order of 0, 3, 8, 4, 7, 9, 10, 2, 1, 11, and 6. But if you put in the order of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, then you take this vibration into your own power and start to manifest. That is the 11 Steps of Serious Joy. And what I teach in my personal Sensei service, I looked at all this and said, oh my God, life is a crazy rhythm and dance. So all we need to do is map out the dance, help the human beings with where they should put what step, when did you put one step down, when you put your foot up, to help maximize the rise so you're not getting so sick seeing grandma every 30 seconds, you know what I mean, or whatever it kind of is. So I believe that what's interesting is, numbers play a lot of this. The numbers and counting and repeating and cycles and circles, there's numbers in it. That's why I got into the side of numerology and astrology and looking at these two and looking at these conscious as different types of things. And I do believe that numbers themselves talk about how humans stack up consciousness. So that's part of what the 11-step idea is as well. 0 is nothingness. 1 is I'm me, 1. 2 is me and her, 2. This is caveman, how it starts. But also look at it. 0 is Scorpio, 0, nothing. 1 is Leo, love, I love me. Cancer is 2, me and you, 2. And Cancer is step 2. So I think there's just a tribal gorilla in us vibration to what is 0 and what 1 means and what 2 means and what 3 means and what 4 means. And I think that this consciousness of numbers, our relationship with numbers, actually is the fundament of our conscious relationship to the universe. 0 gets applied in like crazy Joseph Campbell ways of nothingness and And really, 0 is the secret step, the hidden step, because some cultures didn't even have a placeholder 0 in their mathematics. It took them a long time to have this concept of a number that could represent any number. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big thing. 0 is everything and nothing at the same time. And if you've ever dated a Scorpio, that's exactly how it feels. You know what I mean? Like, they're totally cold and then they're totally like heroes, and it's like you can't get anything warm in between. But I'm a Taurus here, a step 10. So I look at it as looking at it kind of differently, and I'm always arguing with my Scorpio opposite signs. The whole point of the matter is that human beings, in my opinion, and I think this is what part of astrology is, I literally honestly think that we have a fundamental attachment to numbers. And I think that there is a number sequence that's happening due to the nature and the spinning of the planets. And so because we have an affinity for a number, whenever that number and all the consciousness that we have associated with that number comes up, I think that we all gravitate to that number. And that's what my discovery is with step astrology, is that we have this cosmic dance going on with numbers. And so science is right, everyone is right, and it's quite fascinating. So it's literally if your number is up, you know what I mean? And so if you guys are into numbers, it's something to look at. I think we're basically on a merry-go-round. I'll leave with this fascinating little point, and that is that we are a 7. When you add everything up, if you add up the 11 steps of Sirius Story, or you add up 0 through 11, they come to final numbers. In the 11 steps, the final number is 7. So, but in the classic number, if you follow the numbers the way God conscious does it, it adds up to a 3, which is kind of interesting. So, in other words, the way that God puts it out, which is 0, 3, 8, 4, 7, 9, 10, that adds to a 3. But when you do 0 through 11, it adds to a 7. It's very interesting stuff.